Welcome to Life Mastery for Women, where I help you decode the struggles in your life in the areas of health, wealth, relationships, and spirituality with mind mastery, emotional management, and meditation. Welcome to today's podcast. Hey ladies, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to today's episode where I hope I am finding you succeeding with ease. If you're not succeeding with ease, then allow me to set the intention that in today's episode, I give you just one nugget of inspiration towards your transformation today. Let's talk about fear of success. You know, it wasn't that long ago that I was trying something new, and that was jumping off the high dive. Now, I was probably 10, and my dad was in the water waiting for me to jump. He was getting frustrated because he's like treading water in 15 feet of water, and I would not jump off the high dive. And I remember thinking how awesome it would be to jump and land in the water. And I had jumped, off of the other diving boards, and it was no big deal. And I even learned how to dive. He's like, just jump your feet first. You're not diving. You're not going head first. Just jump feet first. And I watched everybody else do it, and it just seemed whatever. And I wasn't to that place yet where I could overcome that fear, and I didn't do it. And I remember my dad being quite disappointed, and that disappointed me that I was disappointing my dad, and that was frustrating to me. But did I do other things? Did I jump off of the bridge? Did I dive off the end of the boat? Did I learn to water ski and I drank half the lake? Did I rappel first off a mountain? When I first started learning to rock climb, did I ride a unicycle? Did I hang on to the outside of a car and skateboard? I did a bunch of crazy things, but just that one still sticks in my mind, that I was not able to make that jump. And of course, right now, as a 49-year-old woman, I totally could do it without any problems. So what was that fear there? Now, that was fear, even though it was like, I really wanted to jump, right? And I wanted to be like my brother because he could do it, my dad because he could do it. But what was stopping me? What was that fear? Now, that could have been fear of bodily harm. It could have been fear of dying. There could have been another type of fear. But yet I will get on stage in front of thousands of people with a little bit of nerves in my stomach, but more excitement, where that is the number one fear across the globe, that people would rather die than speak in public, which is so interesting to me because it is my favorite place to be. But anyways, so when we think of fear, there's always a thing on the other side that we're afraid of, right? There's always something on the other side that we just can't quite wrap our brain around, and our brain can't allow us to step through that fear because our brain's job, our mind's job, is to protect us, to keep us alive, to keep us safe. So that's why we don't do weird, stupid things. We don't jump out of a plane without a parachute. We don't eat weird food. We don't jump out of the moving car. I don't know why I'm on to jumping today, but we don't do stuff like that because there's a chance of bodily, physical harm or a chance of death. That's great. It's really a nice factor to have, that part of your mind that keeps you safe, keeps you alive. We want our minds to do that. So that's always a good thing. This is why you're still listening to this podcast, right? Because your mind is hard at work. But now what if there's something that you really want? Here's an example that I dealt with some clients when I was running my outdoor personal training boot camp. And that was fear of rejection. When they would lose weight, they would sabotage themselves and they would gain the weight back. Because somewhere in there, they were comfortable. They were comfortable with the weight. They were comfortable with their spouse, even though they wanted to lose weight, even though they wanted to fit in those jeans, they wanted to feel better, they wanted to look better, they wanted to have the confidence. Whatever their reasons initially were to lose weight. But I saw it time and time again. It's 20 pounds, it's 15 pounds, you can do it, come on, let's do it. But the problem is on the other side of losing weight. How is my life going to change? For the better oh, it's like this. I'll feel better. I'll play with my kids. I'll run around with my dog. I'll have all this excitement. I'll fit in those jeans. I'll feel sexy and confident. I'll feel healthy and lighter. I'll have more energy. It'll just be amazing. And then there's the other side of the coin that is like, but what if my husband leaves me? What if my kids don't like me? What if there's other women at work that are jealous of me and it ruins my relationships? What if my mom thinks that I've become some vain person and now doesn't treat me the same? There's all these other fears on the other side of our desires. So how do we bust through this? What can we do to help us to move towards what we want, but then be able to release the things that aren't serving us? That's always what I'm talking about, is the things that no longer serve you. When you watch a baby start to progress and develop, they start with liquid foods, breastfeeding or formula and diapers, okay? And then eventually they just naturally move up the developmental chain. As long as they're mentally stable and they don't have any underlying diseases or disabilities, developmentally within 6 months they're starting to roll over. And I don't know all of the developmental stages. Babies are not my expertise, but at 6 months they start to roll over or sit up, and at 10 to 12 or 14 months they start to kind of pick themselves up and stand up, and then eventually 3 years or so they're out of diapers, right? They just progressively start to move according to their environment at a natural pace. Well, we tend to pick up limiting beliefs around as we start to move, where these babies don't have those limiting beliefs. They don't sit back and go, what would happen if I start walking though? Is my mom going to restrict my freedom? Or am I really going to be able to do what I want to do if I get up and start walking? Are they really going to be happy that I'm doing that, or not really? Because we are very excited, aren't we? Until they actually start walking, and then they disappear when you're trying to make lunch and the kid's gone, and now you have the fear of God put in you that, he's fallen into something or gotten himself into some trouble or got his head stuck in the railing or something, right? So, but if you watch their progression, if you stand back, if you have kids, you watch their progression, they now are walking, and they eventually move on from liquid food, formula or breast milk, to solid foods, and then they start holding the spoon, and they drop the bottle, they drop the diapers, they drop the onesies and put on shoes. They drop the Velcro shoes and start tying their shoes. They drop these onesie type sweatshirt with the pullovers, the hoodies or whatever, moms, whatever, and then they zip up, right? They drop the bicycle and drive the car. There's all these things that they let go of naturally. So if you stand back and you look at a baby and then a toddler and then a young kid to then an adolescent to a teenager to an adult, look at the things that they let go of easily. And then that's natural. And it becomes harder in the developmental stage. By the looks of it, by the time we reach 16, 18, 20 years old, we've let go of all of these different things. We have shed all of these different parts of us, right? Like the butterfly that sheds its coat and creates the chrysalis underneath, that sheds the chrysalis that then creates the wings underneath. There's all these parts of nature that are all around us that we can stand back and look at and say, what am I not shedding to move on to the next phase of my life? What am I needing to shed? What do I have to let go of that allows me to accelerate my growth and my happiness and my healing? Sometimes it's a relationship. Sometimes it's a location in where you live. Sometimes it's a job. Sometimes it's a belief. As we get older, when you look at that 2-year-old and he's like, okay, I'm ready to let go of the diapers and move on to potty training. Is this going to be okay? Am I going to be able to do it? Are my friends going to make fun of me? Are my diaper friends not going to be friends with me anymore? Am I going to be able to make friends at the potty party? Right? They don't have those beliefs. They just know naturally, I have to let this go and I have to move on, because the moving on is part of life. It is part of change. It's part of growth, and it's part of your spiritual experience on this planet. So here's your goal. Here's what you're striving for. You want to lose 20 pounds. You want to make more money. You want to leave a job. You want to leave a relationship. You want to get into a relationship. You want to get into a job. What do you have to let go of? It is such an interesting concept, because so many people out there, so many coaches and business owners are like, focus on the thing you want to go towards. Focus on your desire. Let go of the negative beliefs and the negative self-talk around that desire. And I say, listen, yes, that is absolutely right. Focus on where you want to go, and then turn back and look at the things you need to let go of. What do I have to let go of? If you've been listening to the last few of my podcasts, you know that I'm in my own personal coaching program. It's a business coaching program, and how to create a group coaching program. So I'm in my own coaching program, and I also coach, but I'm learning how to structure my business and how to grow my group coaching business. So the things that I'm teaching on my podcast, I now can really start teaching live and in person, which is my goal. And when I'm in this program, it's really interesting, because I have a certain way of doing things, just like we all do, right? I have a certain way of taking in information and assimilating that information and then producing a result. And I'm recognizing right away that there's things that I have to let go of. There's behaviors, there's thought processes, there's habits that I have to let go of in order to accelerate my own growth, to be able to create this business, to create this help, this healing that I want to offer all these women on the planet. But in order for me to become potty trained, I have to let go of the diaper, right? So you guys also know that I've been doing some cleaning at these cabins at this resort that's right around the corner from my house. And I've really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed the actual work and the job and the environment with the cabins and being outside. And I go in, and the cabins just have so much character and so much like personality. I love it. It's like going back in time. There's like these little tiny wood stoves, and there's all like this old structure and these log cabin feel to them, and they're just cozy and homey, and they just feel like you've just gone back in time. And I just love that. But the atmosphere is becoming toxic, and I am moving towards the integrity of my business and becoming in alignment with who I am as a woman, who I am as a coach and a business owner, and the toxicity of this one particular person that works at the resort that is creating this poison in the resort. And I just keep standing back and saying the same thing. I'm like, it's just too bad. It's just too bad that I can't continue to work here, because I love the getting outside. I love the physical labor of what we're doing. And it was fun for a while. And so the people was kind of fun, but it is just, I can't believe how much drama is at this place, and how many of the, not very many, it's only 5 of us, but of the 5 of us, every single one of them is stuck, and they have no desire to move or change or grow or see a perspective shift. And it's very frustrating to me. And it's really hard to see a way out. And it's like that toddler who's moving out of diapers and into the potty party. That they just shift and change. And I'm standing back, and I'm having this little bit of emotional roller coaster where I'm very, very frustrated, and I'm in disbelief by how the bosses are handling this person. And I'm sad to be able to let it go. And then there's this work that's saying, is the universe telling me that you need to move on because this is not where you're supposed to be spending your time. This is not where you're supposed to be. This is not where you're supposed to be putting so much time and energy. It's consuming you to a point of negative energy. And I think, okay, well, maybe that is a message because it is becoming I mean, if you guys have been listening to my podcast, I have had 37 jobs, and this one is by far the best and the worst. It is the best because I just love the flexibility and the freedom and the diversity and the variety that the job has. And it's the worst as in the people that are there. It's like every single one of those people are in the wrong position because they don't have the skill set to optimize that position to its best. Like the people who are in leadership roles don't have the leadership abilities, and the people who aren't in the leadership roles are over the top with their power and exertion to the point of abuse. And I'm thinking, what am I going to do? Like, I have to let this go. And I know that I do because I know that it is too toxic. And unless this one person is let go or they quit or they're gone, in some way that they're gone, I then don't think I want the position to grow. I want to put in the hours that are minimal because I just want to go there for a few days, right? I know I'm spending way too much time on this and I don't want to try to process it on this podcast, but I do think it's interesting. So when we stand back and we look at our lives, and I'm looking at this piece of this job that I'm like, I really, really like this job, but I know I have to let it go. And it's sad to me. And then it's kind of exciting on the other end. It's like, what else could I do? What is letting this job go? What is the letting of this job going? I don't know how to say this right now. Letting go of this job. What is that going to provide to me on this other side? So like a kid who's in a diaper, right? Well, it's going to provide a better, sleeker look in their clothes. They won't have these big, bulky diapers in their clothes. And a little bit of the feeling of growing up, the feeling of confidence and independence. Though when you change your diaper, you can't change your own diaper, but I can go to the bathroom on my own. I'm like, oh, this is independence, right? So I want to explore that a little bit. And I'm not going to do it on this podcast. Obviously, I need to work through this on my own because right now I'm in the depths of this. I'm up to my neck in this drama that's happening, so I can't process it right now. But I want you to think about it. I want you to think about the thing that's in your life, the desire, the thing that you want to move towards. And I want you to think about looking backwards and saying, what are the things in my life that possibly could be preventing me from moving on or blocking my acceleration in the growth and the speed and going this direction. So like if you're going to buy a new house, you have to let go of the house and the location that you're living in currently. So the desire has to be big enough to allow you to let go of those things that are behind you that might be getting in the way of you that moving forward and growing. So as you look at those things, what's the next process? The next step in the process is to go through the emotional releasing stage, is to say, I'm willing to let this go. I'm willing to let go of this drama. I'm willing to let go of this toxicity. I'm willing to let go because the other side is going to be that much more pleasant. Think of it as a boat that's trying to take off in the water, but the anchor is still tightly in the ground. Or a balloon that wants to soar in the freedom, but it's still being held by a person. So is it sad? Yes, it's sad, but I will tell you this. Without the letting go process, we would never change, shift, or grow. We also would never see a higher perspective and the betterment of us becoming the woman or the business owner, the mom, the coach, whatever it is you want to be. You don't get to see that if you don't cut the ties. It's easier said than done, right? You can just say, oh yeah, I got to let go of this relationship in order to get into a better relationship. Is there pain along the way? Yes, there's always a grieving process. The butterfly grieves of the caterpillar, but enjoys the flight. A butterfly grieves for the caterpillar, but enjoys the flight. And that's where we want to go, is I had to grieve those past relationships to get to the beautiful, wonderful, supportive relationship that I'm in now. I had to let go of those jobs to be able to get to this space in my life where I'm an entrepreneur and creating this coaching program that is going to be able to ultimately help thousands of women manage their emotions and overcome anxiety and depression, suicidal tendencies, the feeling of overwhelm and chaos, even just anxiety and depression, by learning the emotional knowledge and learning how to meditate and learning about the chakras. So we have to grieve. We have to move on. But writing and journaling, putting these things down on paper, will help you to focus your space, to clear your mind of where am I going and what do I have to let go of? Where have I come from and what's potentially in my way? And I hope this makes sense to you. This was a very late night recording. But this one was definitely heavy on my mind tonight. But when we have that fear of success, we're thinking of the caterpillar who's turning into the butterfly. The caterpillar doesn't stop. I mean, the whole entire process, I don't know if you know this or not, but the whole entire process of a caterpillar turning into a butterfly is like 14 days. And the whole entire process from egg, the caterpillar egg, to taking flight is only like 21 days total. That's it, 3 weeks. I totally misunderstood that when I was growing up. I totally thought it was a way longer process. But the caterpillar doesn't fear that it can take flight. It just knows it's meant to expand. It doesn't have fear to like, oh, am I going to be able to do this? So how do we build that confidence in moving forward and knowing you're going to be okay? You're going to be able to fly when you get there. You're just going to know how to do things. And this one quote I learned a long time ago that really helped me when I'm moving forward like this. And I do this accelerated learning where I take and I read all these books and I do all this work and all this journaling and I record a bunch of podcasts and I do all this stuff and it accelerates. And I look back in 2-3 months down, if I look back like 2-3 months down the road looking at my life, I'm like, wow, like I really shifted a lot. Well, you could do that on purpose, right? And that's what I do. That's what makes me an entrepreneur, what makes me a great coach, is I'm constantly learning, constantly shifting, constantly changing, letting go of things that don't serve me anymore. And when we can do that, that's when real growth and experience starts taking shape. And when we can look ahead and we can say, oh, here's a quote. If we were going to drive from California to New York in our car at night, we have the headlights on, but we're not shining the headlights from California all the way to New York in one shot. We're only shining out a couple hundred feet at a time. And a couple hundred feet at a time is all we need to see. So right now I have this desire that's out in front of me, 20, 30, 40, 50 feet, right? And I just take one step at a time, and that helps to eliminate not only the fear of what's going to happen when I succeed, but it eliminates the overwhelm. That you take on too much, you look too far ahead, it becomes overwhelming. You look at too many things at once, you overwhelm the brain, and the brain just wants to go take a nap. So when you're looking at something that you succeed at, take one aspect of that success. One. Not 7, 1. You say, okay, you know what? I'm changing careers completely. I'm getting out of dentistry and I'm going into lawn maintenance. And wow, it's going to be a completely big shift in whatever it's taking. Instead of like, I'm going to have to plant all these flowers and learn the soil and fertilizer and the grass, not to mention all the machinery. Okay, wait, take 1. I'm just going to learn how to cut the grass with one of those stand-up machines and be able to whip around a tree no matter where I am in the yard. One thing. Look at that success and turn around and ask yourself, what do I have to let go of? I have to let go of dentistry. I'm not going to be a hygienist anymore. I'm not going to be a dental assistant, whatever the thing is. What do I have to let go of? I really want a relationship that's supportive, loving, sexy, intimate, passionate, respectful, friends, supportive, nurturing, fun, exciting. Yes. What do I have to let go of? I have to let go of manipulative, cheating, toxicity, not friends, not healthy. I have to let go of that person. Because that person's not right for me. Is there a grieving process? Yes, there is. Is it worth it? Yes, it is. As we're going on through the Sister Circles in our Lady Rising group, we're going to be talking about releasing those blocks, releasing those things in our lives, those physical things in our lives, releasing sometimes the people in our lives. Are there going to be adjustments? Yes. If your why and your desire is big enough, then you'll go through those adjustments. But having fear is part of the process, but that's only because you can't see it very far. You're not looking out far enough, but it's okay. Just take one piece of the puzzle and look at just one aspect of it. And then as you do, explore it a little bit. Picture yourself on the riding lawnmower. Picture yourself learning where the buttons are and how you steer it and how you maneuver it. Or picture yourself planting the flowers and playing in the dirt and learning about different fertilizers. And as you're in that visual, the fear will relax because you're giving your mind a snapshot. Even if you're not exactly sure what the snapshot might be, but you're giving your mind something to look at and attach itself to, which eliminates the fear. People are afraid of speaking in public because they don't practice it. They don't think of it. Think of firefighters. They don't just go from I want to be a firefighter to running into a house that's on fire. They practice it in safe conditions. And they learn about the fire, right, in the classroom. But then they go out and they practice what it's like to be out there in a safe space with somebody who can teach them. That's what I'm here for. If you want support in moving towards your desire, but you have this fear that is stopping you, and you can just feel these blocks that are preventing you from chasing your desire, then please allow me to support you in our Lady Rising group. This is where our Sister Circle calls take place, and this is our community that we support one another in this emotional roller coaster that we call life and our spiritual journey. And I want to support you in this. So go to Facebook, type in Lady Rising, because this is about women that are rising to the top, that are moving up the line, that are expanding in their spiritual journey. And I would love to help you. So Facebook, Lady Rising, and say in the membership questions, say you came in through the podcast. I would love to be able to support you in this. And in the meantime, keep one step at a time moving towards your success and looking behind you and say, what do I have to let go of? And then just saying, I'm willing to let go. And see if that doesn't help to create a little bit more confidence and a little bit more acceleration towards your desire. If you liked this episode and you look forward to future episodes and are really looking for a community to help support you with implementing the tools that we're talking about in this podcast, please consider joining our online sister community called Lady Rising on Facebook, where we focus on that spiritual support and connection, just like in today's episode. I hope you'll join us. Go to Facebook, type in Lady Rising, and tell me you came in through the podcast.